So I'd like to talk about a couple of phrases well, a particular phrase that comes up often from the people who are pushed back against people like me and you. And this is a phrase called whataboutism. So often we will make comparisons to other countries. When somebody says something's going on in China, we'll go, well, look, you know, you also need to look at what's happening in your country or what you're doing before you start pointing fingers. And this has really come to the sort of surface because Winston Sturzla, aka Serpent ZA, recently made a video, and the title of the video suggested that knife crime is completely rampant all across, you know,
the
China.
entirety of China.
It's a massive problem. Now, it is a problem. Knife crime is a problem, and he quite rightly points out that a number of these knife crimes are against children.
Yeah,
and he has a point, and it's
disgusting.
terrible.
Yeah.
However, I just want to make a side note. His video was only actually about two, maybe three. Let's say
knife attack.
Actual knife attacks. Another one was about a sort of guy that was disgruntled with his ex-wife, which literally happens all over the world. You know, I know stories of
revenge,
in the UK where people have been
crimes
stabbed.
of passion.
Yeah, crimes of passion. And then the first one was a guy that runs some people down on a zebra crossing. But the people that pushed back against him about this, he accused them of being supportive, condoning that this was happening in China. And anybody with a sane mind is not going to condone and support knife crime in any country, never mind China. It's just, you know, you'd be insane to do that. But his whole premise was that because you're saying that, oh, it happens in other countries as well. But the problem with Winston's argument is context, right?
It's not that it happens in other countries. It's that similar crimes, not the exactly same, because he paints you in a corner where he's like, the exact same thing, the exact same type of crime isn't happening, blah, blah, blah. But if you take and lump together violent crime. Of a violent nature of humans against other humans, or even, he was saying, if it's not adults against a group of children, it doesn't count. Yeah. Which is a weird argument.
And he actually made a point in his video to say, oh, you know, the people will push back and tell me there's loads of gun crime in the US, right?
So he preempts your...
But the reason gun crime is less here and knife crime is higher is because guns are not available here like they are in the UK. I'm pretty sure if guns were as freely available here as they are in the US, there'd be far less knife crime and far more gun crime. So his argument is just ridiculous.
The context that we try to prove is that if you look at the violent crime statistics, whether it's gun or knife, the similar types of events happen at a extremely higher rate in other countries, and that is the context.
Yeah, and then on top of that, if you sort of realize that the population in China is 4 times more than the population in the US, the figures even become higher, you know? So, you know, anything like this, you've got to put it into context of the per capita. Now, without looking at the statistics, I would like to bet you any money that violent crime in China is far less than it is in the USA on a per capita basis. But Winston's title and the narrative of the video is that, oh my God, you know, don't go to China. It's seriously unsafe.
It's a dystopian wasteland.
Because he talks about it in a vacuum with no context whatsoever. Now, if you have a country that's got, I don't know, say 300 million people, and there's 3 violent crimes a year, then you could say, in China there's a lot of violent crime compared to that other country where there isn't as much. But you can't talk about China and say there's a lot of knife crime unless you're comparing it to something. You have to have a yardstick to measure it by.
You made a really interesting analogy. I like analogies. And it's like, if you're in a family with a single child, and that child has a 10 IQ, you're gonna have nothing to you could say that kid is the smartest kid you've ever met.
Yeah,
you could say that kid is the dumbest kid you've ever met.
Yeah.
You can paint it however you want to. But if you look at the neighborhood kids and they're all at 100 IQ, you suddenly realize, oh, well, my kid needs to study some more. Or if they've got a 2 IQ, you can say, my kid is the smartest. But you can only do that with the context. It's not what about all the other kids in the neighborhood? Well,
sure,
that's called context, you know?
But you know, any argument about anything, you have to have context. Otherwise, the argument's not valid. And actually, this is where they don't like the word context. They want to use whataboutism. And that's just
dog whistle.
Yeah, it's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Because without having context to your argument, it's completely meaningless, you know? If you don't know the amount of violent crime in any other country outside of China, how can you say China's violent crime is a lot or a little? You can't, because you have to have a comparison. And that's what I think Winston is very good at doing. And a lot of his audience seem to lap that up without question. You go into his comments and yeah. You know, he tries to paint the picture of China as this like unsafe, you know, place because there's all this knife crime, you know, and that's simply not the case if you compare it to other countries. In fact, the violent crime in China is somewhat less than many other countries, you know.
I mean, and the other thing is, it's really, really powerful because it invalidates our on-the-ground opinions.
Yes.
Like, we have this opinion here on the ground, and his opinion from outside 3 years prior to his departure, which is conjecture based on the news he's reading, takes precedence over our opinions on the ground in conjunction with the places that we were grown up in. Your UK, my USA opinion. It's a really smart argument. I give it to Winston that it's very easy. It's disingenuous.
Yeah,
but it's very easy. Well, you can't believe anything they say. They're talking about America compared to China. I'm just talking about China.
I'm talking about China in a vacuum.
And the other thing, when he shows that, he shows it's all over, right? And he shows one crime in one province, one crime in another province. Now he's showing you one crime in a province of 50 million or so people.
Yeah.
Like, think about one crime in all of UK, and they're like, see, it's violent there.
And things are changing, you know, so quickly here, right? When I first came to China 14 or 15 years ago, right, there was a lot of petty crime, okay? There was a lot of petty crime. And over the years I've been here, I've seen all that disappear. There's virtually no petty crime now. Of course there's still violent crime. In any society you will get violent crime. But it's all about the context.
I want to give you some context, Lee.
And
we're going to pull up alongside. If you don't have the context of what this is, we're in China, right? We're in China. Let's I'm going to get this camera. We'll merge it together.
Yeah, this is context.
This is context, okay? Now, we're in China, and there are some rockets and a rocket launcher. Oh my God. Rocket attacks. Violent rocket attacks. Happening all over China. You know, they have these rockets all over China. They are an evil country. You know, I bet these things are interballistic.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But what is the context of that? What is the context?
The context is that it's some sort of decoration to launch fireworks.
For a new
outside of a hotel,
yeah. I mean, look at it. It's got the star on it and everything. Sorry, I just had to do that. Well, I mean, context is important.
You know, so what I'm trying to say to bring a conclusion to this video is that when you listen to people who use this whataboutism, you need to make sure the argument that they're trying to pitch to you uses context, because without context it's completely meaningless. And I noticed Winston and his mate Laway86 do this on a regular basis.
If you try, okay, take this as an example. If somebody you listen to that you agree with is trying to shut down another person because they're trying to provide context, they're cheating you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyway, that brings me to the end of this video. We do opinion, we do food and travel, we do technology. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. But as always, for now,
take care.
JaYoe.